Hello. All right. Well, welcome, guys and gals, to another exciting episode of the Wildlands of Auria. I am your king of the wilds for this game, and this surgery, Dr.JWolfenstein. It is a pleasure to see all of you again. Once more, I do apologize for my YouTube crew, as you guys will be watching this after the fact because my Streamlabs is not letting me stream on YouTube today. I will have that fixed by next time. I do greatly apologize. Also, it appears I need to add some episodes to my whole Auria playlist on my YouTube channel, but again, these are things I will be doing after the stream, apparently, because I have to get things done. So, before I go any further, I want to thank everyone for showing up, and of course, we have some shilling to do. So, as you all know, I have started a Patreon. My Patreon is PAX Professional DM Services, which is what my company's name is. As you can see on your screens, it's fun, it's cute, it's got its own skizzles and its own appeal. There are 6 tiers, $3, $5, $10, $15, $20, and $25. For the $3, you get access to all the homebrew spells I make. For the $5, you get access to spells and items. For the $10, you get access to the monsters and the other 2 tiers. $15 will give you access to the homebrew races or species that I create, plus everything before. $20 a month will be the subclasses that I come up with. I am recently releasing a new one sometime next month. Basically, have you ever wanted to be a warlock who can shoot shit? Well, this will be the one for you. I am releasing 2 warlock subclasses, actually. One is created and made by the lovely Callie Cat, who has decided to become a contributor to my Patreon. Greatly appreciated. The other is, of course, one that I designed for one of my $25 tier patrons. And finally, for the $25 a month, you get access to something that I make for you. It can either be some spells, items, it can be, subclasses, race, a subclass, a race, or some monsters. Whatever you want. And I will make it just for you. The art of the first 3 tiers is provided by Fallen Star Art. And the last one is actually, the DM tier is actually provided by Mr. Crowlot here, who has, graciously made art for this tier, which is very nice of him. And there's a link to his Twitch on it. I will have...
Don't let him lie, that Crowlot guy is just a lech.
But, all in all, I currently have 4 patrons. I am making some good money. More money than I ever thought I would be making. But, I would greatly appreciate any and all help and support. You can also follow me for free. I do post free content on my Patreon from time to time. For instance, all the Warlock races, all the World of Warcraft races are available for free on my Patreon. We made them 5e compatible and, subclasses of existing, or sub-races of existing races. So, yeah, they're a lot of fun. Currently, the latest thing to release was the Wolfen. Have you ever wanted to play a dog person, a werewolf that's always a werewolf? Of course you have. We all have. Don't be lying. This is that. However, there are more than just wolves in the Wolfen. The Wolfen refers to the species as a total. However, there are 3 subspecies of Wolfen. The Loop, the Vulp, and the Coyote. Or Coyote. coyote, depending on how, where in the borders you want to be from. The items before that was tokens of the Avatar. For those of you who love Jackie Chan Adventures, I have made them now magic items.
One more thing.
There are 3 wolves inside of you. All of them are great race choices.
This is true.
I actually really like these. Yeah, particularly Coyote. I think Coyote's your path maker, right? Or
Yep.
is it the? Yeah, those are fun.
However, there is a ton of stuff I'm working on. There are a ton of items about to drop. There are a ton of spells about to drop. And yeah, there's a couple of really fun monsters. I will give you a hint. One of the next monsters coming out, not in May, but in June, is one of the monsters in the artwork of the Monster Menagerie. For anyone who gets it right, either by posting a comment in YouTube, Facebook, or wherever, I will design a free monster for you as a little contest.
Let's sweeten the deal. Let's say that your DM has now given you inspiration.
Sure. And your DM must give you inspiration at your next table. But at any rate, so if you are interested in adding more to your massive library of D&D material, then please come and support me on Patreon. At PAX Professional DM Services, a friendly DM to guide your adventures. And now, we're going to get into the Wildlands. So, last time, our heroes had returned to the thicket and were currently discussing, or had discussed, some ways that they were going to proceed with the future. They had decided to tag along with the feral elf known as Silva, which, by the way, feral elves will be dropping probably July. Unless I have a quick change of heart. We'll see. But, having decided to follow Silva back to his people, as he did say he was one of a hunting party and that they were waiting for him. Having decided to follow him back to his people, they accompanied him through the bogs and the den, or the land between the snake's den and the mole's digs, deciding to avoid the swamp, which is known as Boggy Bottom. Having made their way, our party has met up with the other feral elves and has found that a large number of them are highly unique, I think is a good way to put it. All of these elves seem to have animalistic tendencies and traits, or animal-like traits. This has given them a very interesting look. I think that would be fair to say. And so, they were off. Thankfully, with the abilities of the elves in question, as well as their mounts, they were able to make fantastic time and arrive at the destination that they were headed. The destination of Forest Haven, which is not too far from Lion's Keep, which is one of the towns that they could have gotten a dirigible to. However, chose not to. Forest Haven is on the edge of what is known as the Thorny Forest. And for those of you keeping track at home, yes, these are the actual names. The last names I gave were in error. My apologies. It's not as if, I create whole worlds and sometimes forget things, Who would have?
Such a horrible god.
I know. It's almost like I'm a god in most belief systems, flawed in some fashion.
That sounds like actually a perfectly normal god. What are you talking about?
But
I don't know. Sometimes I think he's more like Loki. You know, gets thrown around a bit and then gets called a puny god, and then comes back to piss everyone off later because he was angry about it.
Yeah, you got to prove a point.
well,
Yep.
you know.
Sometimes you just have to, you know, annihilate a bitch. It's just, it happens.
Yeah, exactly. It's not my fault.
Are you feeling represented now, there, brother?
I mean, I don't really care one way or another. Although what I am worried about is my big book of freaking notes on this world that seems to have disappeared. But that's behind the scenes stuff. So, having reached Forest's Edge, I will pull you all over to a new map. Which I should have a section of. Oh, apparently I do not, because I'm horrible.
Don't worry, everybody. We're getting this worked out. Soon enough, we'll have it all mapped out for you.
Soon enough, maybe I won't fail at my job so hard. I wouldn't hold your breath, but you know, if wishes were fishes.
You're doing fine.
I mean, I'm fat, so holding my breath doesn't usually work in general, so.
We'll do smaller sections. Just because I like the maps. Again, let's try this one more time. Whoop. Nah, you know what? We're gonna zoom in. We're gonna go here. And we're gonna take a snip. Dang it.
Snip it.
Snip it good! You must snip
Slim
it!
Jim. What?
God, do you remember those old Slim Jim commercials? They were on another level of insanity.
Right?
They were, yeah, especially all the Macho Man Randy Savage ones, you know?
I
Those
mean,
were freaking great.
I'd
They remind me a lot of Segaton commercials.
I'd rather have the Macho Man than that weirdo with the really fucking spiked hair.
I can agree with that.
was... No, I miss the Macho Man.
Let's admit it, like, Macho Man just made everything better back then.
It was kind of the perfect meme for our time.
Fucking Macho Man and fucking Ice-T and fucking... Oh god,
Macho
Mr.
Man
T.
popularized cream.
Wait. No. I got a call back for all you that play World of Warcraft, and I'm pretty sure the good doctor knows exactly where I'm going with this. That was the commercial that got me to play World of Warcraft in the first place.
You're not even lying. God, that was an old commercial, though. But...
Right? Feel dated yet?
No. So, let me pull this map over.
Do I have to let you?
No, I'm going to anyway, though.
See? So why do I have to let you?
I'm talking to my computer, not you. My computer can choose to not let me.
Well, I mean, then you have to specify that you're talking to the computer. I thought we were having a conversation here. Now I just feel offended.
I mean, you can feel offended. That's well within your rights to feel offended. You know, everybody's entitled to feel offended. It's just I'm not doing anything or care to do anything about that. Alright, so finally. Hey, wait, where'd it go? Okay, there it is. I have it! See, all you people at home get to watch me struggle with this live.
Yep.
I mean, technically, I could watch you struggle with it live, considering also the mod in your channel. So I'm watching out for. I'm in the chat watching for idiots, like, you know, like a good mod.
Yeah,
But
well,
like, I don't exactly pay attention to any of the like behind the screen stuff because I'd rather just experience it.
yeah,
Like
well,
a good
good.
player.
Alright, so you're going going to remove that one because I don't need it. So, and then I'm going to pull you all over to the new map because I like it. Ciao. Alright, so going to the map layer and going to this and doing this, and then this is and then this down here. I'm actually going to make these much bigger. And then this is... Alright. And... And then the deeper green. Alright, so. Ta-da! The map! Everyone can see that, right?
Yes.
Alright, good.
Well, not everyone, but I'm me.
As far as I'm concerned, if nobody speaks up for themselves, the one who speaks up speaks for everyone.
Oh, did we move out of the mountains?
You did. You guys reached the forests. You guys reached Forest Haven.
See it right there.
Oh
in the
yeah.
No, I have to say, out of everyone that I wouldn't mind speaking for me in matters of if everything's okay or not. I think I would trust David to do it.
corner. Yeah, it's a good choice.
I mean, valid.
I mean, just listen to that voice. Like, everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah. Most trustworthy laugh.
Thanks, brother.
Wrap me in my arms and say it's okay.
Wrap me in my arms?
Wrap you in your
Only when snitch
I
you
think I
out
meant
to the
wrap you
FBI.
in your...
Here, let me wrap you in
No,
your
you just
arms.
need to rat them out to
baby.
the Pinkertons.
Yeah, that's...
We're not getting involved in that.
I mean, I know what my next character is. I'm just gonna start busting into civilians' homes. Because that's what Watsy says I can do with my roleplay.
We're not getting involved in that.
Okay, alright, I'll leave it. I just had to make a joke at their expense.
I mean, they are a joke at their expense.
But
Listen, they took away the Emperor text-to-speech from me. They deserve all the hatred.
Should we put on
Hasbro,
our
I'm like-
cameras?
I mean, you
No.
can if you want to. I have never required it of any of you.
So we reached Forest Haven. I remember we were like surrounded by woods. They said, yeah, try not to go out there alone if you can avoid it.
Indeed.
Oh, no, you'll come back if.
Oh yeah, you'll circle back. You're right.
Correct. So,
You're right.
when you guys have arrived in Forest Haven, what you discovered is that this place is as elf can get. Literally, their buildings, such as they are,
grown out of like natural materials.
exactly. Their buildings look like they were grown, not built. Very cool aesthetic, all things considered. You know, or at least I sure think it's
Wow, the architecture here is fascinating.
cool. As you guys are presented around, though, you are told, hey, you know, don't go into the woods alone. You will just return right here anyway. And there may or may not be things that don't appreciate intruders in the forest. So if you can not be an intruder, that would be great. You know, do us all a flavor.
Staring the corpses of strangers can be such a hassle sometimes.
I mean,
You're a stranger.
I mean,
Yes, I am but a mere seller of scent. I would hurt no one. Grr.
Like,
He looks at questioning with a gun.
You actually see some of the elves look at you. Oh, we're not worried about you hurting anyone.
Good.
That's
Good.
what I
See,
thought.
we are all friends here.
They kind of look at each other and then nod. Sure.
Allies in arms.
Or else we wouldn't have saved somebody.
she's just reminding them, like, hey, we're not enemies. Don't make it that personal.
They nod in agreement.
I think they're saying we would die.
I mean, death is a strong word. Says
Oh,
one
so
of
the
you
forest
guys.
is dangerous.
Oh yes, the forest has always been dangerous, even to our own. We have learned to respect her.
There's not much difference between respect and fear, is there?
Not much, but there is a line. And so long as you stay on the right side of it, you will be safe and healthy.
Fear is a form of respect.
She seems to think that over. I don't necessarily disagree with you.
That was rather insightful of you, Oliver.
What does that mean? Insightful. What did I see?
Yuki leans in with her usual, goofy, nature and points at her head.
It means you're quite sharp. Perceptive.
My head is sharp?
Mm-hmm.
Could we use it to cut open a bank vault?
Actually, you probably could with such insight.
Gobsy is
Smile.
very, like... Has anybody seen that scene from, the second Hobbit where Bilbo's, like, trying to do the math instead of how big Smaug is?
Yeah,
He's trying to, like, process, like, all this conversation, like...
I got it. Kind of a meme, yeah.
I don't know if my beak's sharp enough to cut metal.
I mean, it's more in a figurative.
Oh. Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that, folks. I lost sound for a moment.
He borked it. He borked it, everybody. Borked it.
However, I did find the book.
Ah,
Success.
Indeed. Success.
Book good.
When you failed your your perception check, but your DM gives you another roll.
Yay!
However, I am realizing very quickly. Damn it. Okay. Well, that's fine. Alright, so. Presently, though, you are guided to an inn.
What's the inn called?
You know what? I'm getting there.
Okay.
So as you're guided to this inn, the first thing you note is that the inn seems to have been grown out of a great, magnificent old oak tree. And instead of like spreading out and then going up, as most inns do, you can actually see that from the very base of the oak tree all the way up until you lose sight of the trunk of the tree for all the branches. You can see like almost windows. There's no glass. Instead there's knot holes where, tree knots used to be or still are. And there's a thin, almost like membrane over each one. Almost like a very thin layer of moss that's more more clear than opaque. And the inn is called the Great Oak Room.
Oh, see it? Look at it. It's a great oak and it's a room. How wonderfully accurate. Unlike that grandma's shop I saw earlier. Or was it grandma's? Freaking in the other town, the Thorn town.
There was... In the thicket, there was...
Where White Hill turned into something else.
Oh, that was Mama Odie's.
Yeah, Mama. Unlike Mama's shop. That was not my Mama. Accurate advertisement.
She says, nodding enthusiastically.
As you enter the shop itself, or the inn itself, the bottom floor is the reception. You see that on either side of the front desk are a set of stairs leading up. They're spiral staircases. At the desk, you see a very interesting looking goblinoid.
Oh.
This goblinoid is sitting behind the desk, and she... Give me 1 second. Aha. You can see that her ears, instead of being on the side of her head, being the pointed goblin ears that you all know and, are familiar with, they are on top of her head, and they are big old sand fox ears.
Fennec fox, yeah.
Yes. However, her tail, while it looks like a fennec fox tail, actually is like, you can see her grabbing up a mug from behind her and bringing it around to her desk so she can grab it with her regular hands and sip at it.
So it's more prehensile.
Exactly. It is very much a fully prehensile tail. And as she looks, welcome to the Great Oak. And then she looks to see who's leading you, and she stands up, milady, and bows. You see the woman just smile and wave her hand. No need for all of that. I am merely bringing our guests here. Guests?
I'm sure you could do interesting things with a tail like that.
I certainly can. Oh, wait. I get it. And she...
It must be nice being able to have something that can hold another thing. Especially if you're stealing something.
I don't steal things.
I never said you did.
And I'm just saying that I don't. She says, looking at the elf. To which the elf just kind of smiles.
I'm just gonna put my hand on Altera's beak and close it.
Just...
Yeah. Yep, I understand. No talkie.
Presently, though, she looks... Gree. These guests will be staying here, at least for this evening. Maybe longer, we will let you know. Please give them a nice room. One that doesn't face the sun when it rises in the morning. And Gree nods. Oh, of course. Any friend of the free folk is a friend of ours. Good. And she looks back to you. You have the run of the town, as the Lord Hunter said. Do please be careful, though, because even here there are things that are not necessarily safe for everyone.
Okay.
Don't touch any plants that you do not recognize. And don't touch any plants that look like they have a mouth. And with that, she just kind of nods. I will leave you to your exploring.
Don't touch any plants you don't recognize. And don't touch any that have a mouth. Got it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Only 2 rules, and they're pretty simple rules, all things considered.
And at that point,
Gobsy's
Altera
sad
bites
about
Tyrador's
rule
hand.
1.
These seem like overly simple rules. I'm
Gobsy
gonna
gets
just
sad. Tyrador gets bit.
Gobsy does
Like,
get sad
what?
about rule 1.
Altera bites the hand that is muffling her.
you
How-
can try.
I mean, you know,
Roll
peek.
for initiative.
No.
Yeah. You gotta roll strength for that, please, or dex.
Technically, yeah, it's basically escaping a grapple. So, however, Greed just kind of smiles as the elf huntress leaves you. She then looks to all of you. I gotta say, I haven't seen most of your kinds before, or well, some of you. She points to Yuki, she points to Gobsy, and she actually points to you, Tyrador. I didn't think your people cared for the forests. No offense meant.
Distant relation. Unacquainted with the ones you speak of.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
I thought you've already seen my kind. Because, you know,
The Meowlicos.
and she really goes, ah, no wonder though, we are a special breed.
I haven't seen many Meowlicos in my life, like ever. I know you exist, but I thought you were one of the cat folk. They're different than Meowlicos, I take it. As are the Tabaxi, I think they're called.
The take-backsies, yes.
I'm more familiar with them. Though I'm perfectly happy to know more creatures and more people.
Delightful. I wish to get to know you as well.
And she nods. I'm Gree. I only recently took over this inn, but I have grown to love it, almost as if it was my own. But it was not. It was founded by one of the they call them keepers here, and she actually kind of points to Oliver, kind of like your friend there.
Looking over.
Gobsy everyone looks at Oliver briefly.
You know, an owl folk.
Interesting.
They are really pretty tender people. Also, more druids of the wild seem to come and go from here.
I see. That would explain a lot. I mean, everything seems so well tended here.
We certainly pride ourselves on keeping in tune with nature.
It's very impressive architecture.
It's a tree.
But you'll find all the furnishings as if you were not in a tree. And yet, none of it harms the tree itself. The tree is still growing. It's grown a good bit since last we measured.
Yuki takes one of her paws and kind of like taps on the wood, you know, kind of determining its strength.
Not stone, but powerful.
As you tap on the wood, you notice something is that there's no fine polish to anything. Though it creates the illusion that there's a fine polish here. And again, none of the furniture is disconnected from the floor. It is all sculpted, and you can see no connecting. You can't see any screws, any nails, any glue or adhesives. There's no seams in anything. It looks like the desk that she's sitting at, and even the stool she's sitting at, just grew out of the floor.
How long it took to grow all this?
Oh, not long. Many of the plant shapers are capable of doing it in a few minutes.
No, I mean the whole thing.
Oh, the great
Because
tree.
the tree itself is still growing, correct?
Yeah, the tree, she is 300 years old, give or take.
Big for a 300 tree.
Yeah, she starts shaking her head.
Too long. Too long.
Yeah, huge for a 300-year-old tree, by the way. And she smiles. Well, allow me to show you upstairs. Please be careful. And she looks to you, Teardor. The passageways might be a little tight, but you should be able to get through okay.
Okay.
Think small thoughts.
Think small thoughts.
No thoughts.
And Yuki puts her hands together in kind of like a meditative, like, focus, meditative.
Gobsy becomes thinner.
But as she
You
leads
see
you,
Yuki look at her kind of a little bit rotund belly and look at Gobsy with a little bit of
Like her
jealousy.
hair gets longer, like the hair gets a lot, that hair, air quotes, gets longer, and then like the torso shrinks down, like thinner.
You must teach me this trick. Sometimes I cannot fit into my festival outfit.
presently though, she leads you all upstairs. Now, the first floor she leads you to is actually a typical bar room. You notice that the stairs kind of continue along and actually loop and actually cross each other as they are curling around the tree. There's actually a point where the staircases are like next to each other, touching railings, and then continue in opposite directions, and they kind of continue to spiral up the length of the tree.
Oh, that's cool.
As you reach the second floor, you can see that there is a bar room, a typical tavern kind of setting. You can see that there's tables, chairs, again, all of which look like they grew out of the floor and are still connected to it. There is a kitchen in the back you can hear and kind of see into. And you can see that there are typical creatures of the Wildlands here. You see that there are a couple more of these feral goblins, much like the mistress herself, much like Gree herself. You can also see, however, that cooking at the stove is a hedgehog in a little apron, and a little you can see that there are a pair of like quail folk, very similar to Oliver and Autera, but much smaller in stature. And they are moving about. Serving drinks to the various patrons. Now, most of the patrons here are elves, feral elves. Some of which have cat-like features, some of which have wolf-like features. Some have bear-like features, and even one has a beautiful set of antlers that he's growing directly from his skull.
I mean, I'd hope. I'd hope they're from his skull.
I mean, they might be from his back or his shoulders. You don't know.
Yuki is grinning. And you see her scribbling like furiously, and if you look over her shoulder is all the notes on what to sell them. For example, she has written antler soap.
But ultimately speaking, as she continues to lead you up, she goes up to the next floor. This is actually a grand ballroom. This is where you would host parties, dances, things of that nature. You can see where there's a stage for any, bards or musicians to perform. The fourth floor is where you start to see bedrooms. And the stairs here actually end up on hallways, and in these hallways they're curved around the tree, and you can see that there are doors set into the sides as well as set into the core.
Interesting.
And the hallway seems to leave the core of the tree alone and seem to kind of curl around in a circular pattern. She then takes you to the fifth floor, and here is these are where some of our better rooms are. I was told to give you some good rooms, so let's see. and she smiles as she walks over. Ah, this one. And she goes up to a room that is in the against the core of the tree. And she opens the door. This one will be for you, and she points to Oliver. She then walks to another room and opens the door. This one will be for you. She points to Auria. She does this, giving you each your own room until you guys actually realize you've wrapped around about half the tree trunk. And she kind of smiles. Meals can be brought to your room. Just ring the bells. And she points out these little bells that actually look like they're flowers. They're actually bluebells.
Ha!
They are beautiful.
They are,
As immediately like categorizing it.
they are growing out of the tree, out of the wall. And she just gestures as she kind of flicks it, and you do hear it actually ring like a traditional bell. That will
Kamsi
be.
tilts her head, like, what?
Beautiful.
As she does so, she smiles. This will be connected to the kitchens, and they will bring a meal or send one of the servers up to investigate what you want. We can supply more blankets or more bedding if you prefer. The beds themselves are actually like pretty large. They seem to Theodore, you're actually pretty comfortable with the size of the bed.
Oh, good.
Um,
I was a little concerned with this place.
Yeah, no, you actually notice that they seem to build everything bigger, and then they have ways that you can adjust it if you're a smaller person. Like in Oliver's room, everything is normal person size, but Oliver finds like many different step stools or many different little carvings in the furniture that allow her to maneuver about as if basically so she can access everything without needing to do much. It's a lot of inventive uses of space. There's a lot of handholds for like you can see where a prehensile tail is definitely going to be useful here. However, as she's continuing on, she kind of smiles. If there is anything else I can do for any of you, please don't be afraid to ask and come down to the front desk. I will be there, and I'm sure we can accommodate whatever it is you need. It's actually at this point that you see a creature that some of you recognize, others of you don't, but you see a gnoll. She has grayish fur, looks like ashes, and she comes around and she's wielding a broom and a bucket. And she kind of looks and kind of growls, speaking to Gree in another language. Do any of you speak Gnoll?
No.
Well, would that fall under beast speak though?
No.
Okay, no.
And so Gree replies in Gnoll, and then quickly, this is hold on. This is Brita. Brita.
Pleasure to meet you, Meniki.
She nods and... Don't make a mess, please. I can clean most things. Blood, others, sources, but I prefer not to make a mess. And have to clean up big messes.
I will be on my...
After others must be very annoying, yes?
Yes. Some are dirty. I forgive them sometimes.
I will be on my best behavior. And so will they.
Looking at all the little cats, which have immediately like started messing with things out of curiosity and are like hastily putting them back.
She nods and... Good. And, presently, if you need any cleaning, tell now. Yes?
Tell who? I didn't hear.
Tell now. Like, she's saying that if your rooms are not clean to your liking, tell her now, and she can fix that.
Yuki is
Gobsy.
gonna take a look at her room.
Yeah, Gobsy will also check her room.
Alright, everybody wants to check their room, may roll an investigation check.
Do-do.
None of you find anything.
Yeah, no, Gobsy just like, it's a cursory kind of glance. I believe I'm good.
I believe this is a room suitable for a Kyubey or a daimyo.
Yeah,
But I
quickly.
will. But I wish.
And she looks around the room.
I need mini beds.
Says motioning to the cats.
Rita thinks for a bit. Can do.
Thank you. I appreciate your kindness. How shall I reward you?
She holds out a paw.
Coin?
She nods.
Or how about
And Yuki's gonna go through her perfumes. Kind of
I
offering different
love
ones.
this cat so much.
You see, she looks at them to be respectful and then shakes her head. Coin better. Coin more subtle.
Great. And I do like the sound.
And she passes her 2 gold coins, because I just made a profit earlier, so.
She takes them. And then she, again, looks to everyone. Again, no make bad mess, yes?
No,
Okay.
I assume that you've already performed an exemplary job.
At that, she, kind of beams a little bit. You can definitely see a little pride there.
Aw.
As she...
These rooms are cleaner than most people I know.
Humans...
And I've known nobility.
Some creatures not as clean as me. Just some creatures.
Perhaps to aid your work, I have
You are
something I
better
could
looking
offer.
than most creatures.
She smiles. It's good you notice, yes? But, no offense. I don't breed with feathers. Feathers get in the way.
And fur gets in beaks. I understand.
But presently, you see her kind of...
Gobsy is fascinated by this mating ritual.
She tilts her head and you can actually, hear her... Or you can actually see her listening. And she just... And turns around and walks away. Muttering in Knoll. But you see Gree. Well, at least she likes you. Although I don't envy
What?
whoever she's going to go look at.
I'm sure someone left a mess that was unsatisfactory. Why make job harder for other people?
She shrugs. Can't say at all. And, but presently, she just, well, dinner is being served if you are hungry.
Absolutely famished. Could eat a small army in a small village.
Sustenance.
And she nods. Well, follow me down to kitchens.
Gobsy does.
Yeah. Yuki is you see her following Gobsy and taking notes on. So we've tried to feed you this, this, and this. What does these produce? She says all the cats trying to feed you things earlier.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot we had alchemic, she's
Yeah,
able
we
to,
were having alchemic discussions. Yeah.
well, I can break this down into this, if this had this.
Yuki's writing it down enthusiastically.
Like,
Fascinating.
what she has, if she has something she can... Just imagine dishwasher noises when you put something in her, the
Just small humming.
just less humming. Well, right now it actually might be because she has zippy zaps.
Well, I appreciate that. Do you actually feel hunger?
I feel lack of nutrients.
I see, I see. But you still have taste? Smell? Senses?
Yes, but different.
I see, I see.
Like,
So-
if you were to eat cheese, you would taste the subtle notes, the compounds. Yes, but I smell and taste the compound.
The component, not the product.
Correct, but sometimes the product is the component. Does that make sense?
No, says Gree
Nod
simply.
sagely.
Nod sagely.
Oh, I think I understand what you mean. When something is at its base level, it fits along more with your taste. So, for example, when you try a plant straight up, you tend to taste it a little more, if I understand.
She nod, yes. Like,
And the more manufacturing you do, the more confusing it gets.
more complexity, harder to identify.
Understood, understood. So I can use you to identify base components. She says, writing down enthusiastically again.
Or what it would take longer, but I could identify what components are in something. Granted, toxins still... With my current chemical makeup, toxins still mess with my components.
So you get sick?
Yes! Get less stable.
She looks and looks. You do
Drippy.
look like the insides of a stomach, so I imagine that would be very visible.
Yes.
She doesn't say this with any disgust, just as a natural kind of like
Yeah, I
argument.
imagine if she does get poisoned or like exhausted, it just becomes less solid than she already is.
That's funny.
It sounds like you will be a useful tool for Yuki.
Well, Well, yes, I'm not sure.
Yuki looks a little ashamed of herself because that crossed her mind, but to put it so bluntly, she's like,
Oof.
yeah, that was kind of me being an asshole, she realizes.
Gobsy doesn't seem to mind, however.
It's okay.
I
Everyone
like
is
to be
a
useful.
tool, and tools can be the best things in life.
I prefer not to call people tools. We have more merit than that.
So the Cube often calls me a tool.
Well,
Back home.
to be fair, we're a tool for the people that we work for. And we're very effective tools.
Mm.
That's why we're here.
People aren't tools.
No?
What about the person who's in charge?
Gree is just listening to you guys with
Yeah,
interest.
we're just having a conversation, and
We're just kind of rambling on as we head out.
Great. I have a question.
You watch as her ear swivels around to face you, but she doesn't turn her head. Yes.
My cats and I miss home. Do you have any product from the grain and rice?
She kind of
Fox
looks
noises.
She looks at her. She just kind of looks at her hand as she seems to be counting something. Though what, you have no idea, because she's not using any counting method any of you know. I'll have to look. We might, but we haven't seen anyone from those lands in many, many, many years. Since I was a young one?
I'm guessing.
So not very long.
Yuki thinking a
She
little
actually
bit.
frowns. She actually frowns at you. I am in my 30s.
You don't
Oh.
look a day over 12, though.
I appreciate it. But no, feral goblins live a lot longer than most people think. It's just that, well, we tend to get in fights or eaten by trolls. So we don't live as long as many people would hope.
Oh, we're about the same age then.
She shrugs.
Yuki kind of looks. It's like she doesn't say anything for a moment.
I am quite young myself.
And then she kind of nods. But anyway, and she walks down into the main room. Rock! As she calls out Rock, you actually see another feral goblin. This one, he has koala bear features, though still a long prehensile tail with a bit of fluff at the end of it. Like he's behind the bar. We have visitors. Okay. Wake up! Ah! And he stands up more straight and just leans on the bar. She shakes her head. Forgive him. He's new. And with that, wow. Just so you guys are aware, Gree stands about 3 feet tall, and her tail is another 3 feet. Like, she's constantly being able to touch her head with her tail. But, at any rate, she kind of looks at you all. Rock will take care of you, as will the others. And with that, she heads back downstairs, leaving you guys here. Rock, come over, come over.
Is it? I appreciate you.
One hungry cat.
She kind of tilts her head. Or he kind of tilts his head.
What did Rock look like? Sorry.
A koala bear.
Ah, very
Like-
sleepy. That makes sense.
He has koala bear ears. He has the big, koala bear looking nose. And he has mutton chops that look like koala bear fur.
That's amazing.
Otera's
the
staring
mutton
at the fluff on the tail, basically looking like ready to hunt it.
And it is, like, the fluff on the tail is, like, shaped like a koala bear's little nub tail. So, but, alright. And, he pats the bar. There's enough seats that you can all sit down. And again, Teardor, being the biggest in the party, you actually don't feel like this stool is going to collapse from under you. You actually feel like it can easily support you.
Oh, good.
Oh,
It's a little small, but I mean, it supports you just fine. But at any rate, as you all sit down, he kind of looks at you. So, what do you all want? What can I get you?
Made a request with Bree for something from the land of grain and rest. My cats are sad. They miss home. Even if it were just a fish, maybe flavored in such a way.
He thinks. I'll have to ask.
We will wait.
He then
I want them to be happy.
He then looks to the rest of you. And what are you guys?
I'll take whatever you recommend. You look like you enjoy food more than others.
You would be right. Diet?
Omnivores.
Good. And he points to you, Teardor. Are you a carnivore, or are you a veggie head?
veggie.
I'll take an omnivorous special.
Good. Small burb. And looks to Oliver.
Greens, please.
Which is an odd pick. I'm so out of character.
And then looks to Gobsy. Garbage?
Would be garbage? Her sustenance? In like a questioning tone?
Nods. Alright. And he turns around, leans over the little window that looks into the kitchen. and then looks back. And then looks back again. Then looks back a third time.
Gobsy waves.
And then 2 omnivores, 1 veggie head, one imported, and 1 other. You hear a stop from inside the kitchen. What?
Kitchen scraps. I'll
He-
just shout up.
like
Kitchen
you-
scraps.
You watch as the hedgehog comes out from behind, looks, oh, and then closes the doors.
Oh, okay.
So,
It looks like
Gubsy,
they know
I
you're
never
dead,
thought
Gubsy.
about this.
Sorry, what? That was
Oh,
too many people.
2
at
of
once.
us. Yeah, go ahead, Mason.
Otero goes, it looks like they know you're dead, Gobsy.
Oh, well, I hope so.
Actually, taste is not too much of a concern.
My
Yeah,
favorite, honestly, these. She pulls out, from her bag. It looks like, thick hardtack, and it's brown. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, hardtack's usually like shingles, roof shingle look.
She kind of head tilts.
Is that bark?
No, it looks like a tiny brick is what it looks like.
That
And-
looks appetizing.
Oh, would you like one? She pulls out another one, hands it to Otero.
Begins nibbling not to be disrespectful to friend.
It's about as hard as it looks, as in a brick.
I guess it sticks with you a long time.
Yes, it's like would list like how flour, water, salt, and a couple other like raw chemicals
Yeah,
mixed in
It's
a
a very
like how
simple dish, so.
yeah, no, mixed together and then set in an oven for 3 hours in a very low oven for 3 hours.
that.
There's almost a chipping noise as Altera is taking bites.
I mean, it's the literal definition of sustenance.
Well, that's
It's-
depressing. Yeah, just get this thing table scraps.
It's the literal definition of sustenance. The fun part is Gobsy can cook and well.
you
There's just confusion.
You watch as a few minutes later, the first things that come out are the veggies. And they are actually brought out by a caterpillar-like person.
Interesting.
You assume it's a he, at least from the voice. Who here had the veggies?
Oh god.
Oh
Oh god, indeed.
God has left the building.
She Yuki kind of points to them as all the little cats, their ears like fall short. Like just fall over, just like, oh my god, we're being fed vegetables, we're gonna die.
He then waddles over as Rock points out Oliver, and he sets this big bowl of vegetables down in front of you, Oliver. Here is the veggie platter. Hope you enjoy. It is
Thank
good. And
What kind of veggies are there?
so you notice that there's spinach, there's carrots, potatoes. The potatoes have not been cooked. You don't know why, but they haven't been. There's also a few onions. There's a squash, zucchini, and a couple of pickles.
Are they cucumbers?
No, they're actual pickles. Like, they've been pickled.
I love how nothing's cooked and then they have one pickled thing on there.
You then watches Oliver as you watch the caterpillar person kind of walk away. Rather, waddle is more the appropriate answer. He pulls a big leaf of something from behind his back and is eating it as he walks into the kitchen once more. as you look under the greens, you actually notice that there are a variety of nuts, acorns, peanuts, almonds, things of that nature.
Have we eaten together before? Oh, I guess the party thing.
And the sandwiches.
Yep, the sandwiches.
Can't forget the sandwiches. The all-important sandwiches. Thank
But
you.
yeah, there has been many occasions where we kind of haven't been all together.
Yeah.
Correct.
Or where we weren't like sitting down eating at a table or something.
Correct. Does Oliver eat in a strange way?
Maybe.
We're just like open.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting until you get through the scene.
All right. As no sooner has he waddled back in there than he waddles back out. He's carrying a tray of mushrooms, some cooked, some not cooked. You see like strips of what might have been like fat trimmings or parts that most people don't eat or they just didn't cook. And he sets it down in front of you, Gobsy. I hope it is sustenance.
She looks. Oh, this will do quite well. And just. Yeah.
When Gobsy looks away, Altera's going to try and stealthily put the brick of sustenance onto the plate and hide it.
Yeah. Roll
Sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand there, my friend.
What's your passive perception there, Gobsy?
I'm looking. I need to find it. 16.
So you watch as Altera just under your eye line just puts the brick of nutrients on your plate.
She doesn't mind. This is not for everyone. And Gobsy just like picks up the tray and pours it into her mouth region. Some of it doesn't quite hit, it just still gets absorbed.
You see the caterpillar person look at you, and then waddles away. A little.
Gobsy begins like wiggle happily as as you can see it like
Breaking down.
like dissolving rapidly.
Altera
There's, like-
fully believes that she got away with it because nothing was said.
There's a bunch of growling cat stomachs. One of the cats have just given up and is now just laying on the floor.
You then watch as another dish is brought out. These are actually soups, or rather stews. You can see that there is meat and various other vegetables. You do notice potato and carrot are featured, as well as onion, as well as some other vegetable you cannot identify readily, except Terra might. This would be a nature check.
Actually, I have proficiency in nature as well.
Yeah, you can attempt it.
Why not? Just for funsies,
No.
since I got proficiency. Nope.
Altera, you actually recognize this as what's called a tuber. A tuber is a strange... It grows like a carrot, but has the taste and consistency of a sweet potato. However...
That's how sweet potatoes grow.
No. They grow similarly, but, no.
Okay.
However, the skin itself is actually... The flesh is actually a deep purple color, whereas the outer skin is a brown color.
Ooh, tubers.
They are not common, and you know that much like potatoes, raw, they are poisonous.
Style.
He was not feeling well.
Oh.
But, finally...
I just realized we're missing our professor.
Yep. Finally, the caterpillar emerges from the kitchen one last time. And, Yuki, this is a scent that you and all of your cats recognize at once. You notice that the dish is quail. You notice that there is a simplicity here. You also see that there is some fish on the plate, some of it cooked, some of it not. However, the smell that you are all noticing is the black, almost ink-like liquid in a little saucer on the tray.
Oh, they are enthusiastic cats.
And
I know what this is.
he sets this down. And you with the strange sauce. And he then, I hope you all enjoy, yeah?
Yuki looks at him and just gives a very thankful little bow, and then she says, "We will need more."
I will see. We were running out. Have not had many guests for import in many years.
I will make it worth your time.
He shrugs.
As the cats all gather around, excited, just like you're basically seeing the table, and then you're just seeing like 5 other pairs of eyes, just looking at this in awe.
Bobsy would, now that she's digesting and is already imbibed, go over to the little tray. It's not a big saucer, she imagines.
No.
Is it? May I have a small drop?
Of course.
She would.
What is a feast if I steal it at all, huh?
She very carefully puts like the very, like you can see a little tiny like pseudopod come out of the tip of her finger, as I said, a finger out of her finger basically, to take a tiny drop. Boop. To. I'll roll some stuff. Do you want me to private you a message what I'm doing in the background so you can continue describing?
Yeah.
I'm tasting it and breaking it down chemically. I'll do some stuff later. I'll message you.
Gotcha.
Continue.
As your cats dig in, the quail seems to have been cooked in these substance as well as the fish. At least the cooked fish. The raw fish is a simple river trout. Not sushi grade, but it is what they can get.
Yep. She is one enthusiastic cat, just bowing down. There's a reason Yuki has her fat little stomach, and yeah, her eating is, chomp, 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 chomp. All the cats, several cats have jumped on the table. It is just a flurry of just food and meth.
Food and fur.
As you guys are
Sorry.
As you guys are eating, Rock has actually put several cups. These cups actually look like they are pitcher plants. However, they are very cup-shaped. And each one of them is filled with a slightly viscous liquid that smells really sweet.
Sweet liquid.
Oh,
That
Teardor.
makes me moist.
Oh yeah, Teardor wasn't served.
No, yeah. It was the soup for Auria and Teardor.
Oh, okay. I just heard Terra.
Because
Sorry.
we both said omnivorous.
Yep.
Okay.
You guys were given the stew. It was
My
just
mistake.
Auria who recognized the tuber.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No worries. It's all good.
Oliver is shoving vegetables into her beak in an extremely wild, voracious, and unhinged manner.
Are we watching the Goku equivalent of eating here?
It's more like
If Kirby used arms.
If prison inmates didn't have utensils.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Fair
you're
enough.
eating like the cats, and Yuki, despite her huge appetite, is eating a lot, but eating with like very dignified.
Yeah.
Very trying to eat dignified.
Yeah. Yeah, Oliver is very undignified, like both her arms up on the table and just like piling stuff into her beak.
As you're all eating, Rock has handed you all these cups. And then, no sooner has he handed them, than his head just BAM! Onto the counter, and you hear...
What's in the cups?
It is a sweet-smelling, slightly viscous drink of some kind.
By the way, I did not hear a thing when you said you hear
Oh, you hear snoring. He hit his head.
snoring.
Yeah, his head hit the
just-
table or the counter, and he fell asleep. And he's snoring.
I'm gonna lift his head out of concern to see if there's a bruise.
You don't see one.
Okay, I just set it back down gently.
Just go back to sleep. As you all eat, if any of you take a sip from your drinks,
Gobsy would like to.
okay, you find that it has the consistency of like a almost like a what am I looking for? What's the word I'm looking for here? Syrup. Almost like a syrup. However, it's not overly sweet. You can actually taste a sweetness from. You're not sure what the plant or fruit might be. It's like drinking the peach juice from canned peaches.
Oh, it's like mildly sweet and kind
Yes,
Yeah,
and
I know what you mean.
and incredibly refreshing. Like,
Whoa.
it just seems to stick with you better.
Hydrating.
Indeed.
Eating with Auteur is like eating with me, as I usually am when I'm like really hungry. You know how you'll look at me, I'll have a full plate of food, you'll look away, the next second you look back and it's gone. That's basically Auteur. Woo, food! Everyone looks away, looks back. Where'd the food go?
Is only Yuki the one with table manners?
That might be
Teardor,
the case.
Teardor, how are you
Um,
eating? I'm very curious.
I'm gonna be using a spoon.
Okay.
Like, you know, a person.
A civilized noble.
All right. So the Minotaur and the cat have the most table manners at this group. Got it.
Well, it's
Yep.
kind of funny
Although-
because it's the characters with a slightly noble background.
Yep.
I am gonna be using a bigger spoon than normal though.
Oh yeah, no, they gave you a spoon that to any other race would be a serving spoon.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Also, the utensils as well as the platters are all made of wood. However, you notice it's not oak. It's actually it's ash. So they all have this gray tint to them. However,
I'm gonna have Yuki as we're eating kind of reminisce a little bit because there's something from her homeland.
fair.
Just having a casual conversation over all the munching and the mess of cats.
Yeah.
So, in my homeland, we would gather mini fish, and then you would eat them like this.
You're pointing to the raw fish.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Because if done correctly, the fish brings out a natural flavor, and you only need a few ingredients to bring it out. I think you would actually like this.
And they offer Gobsy a bite.
She takes it, like, very small amount.
So Yuki, in her enthusiasm, actually went to feed you.
Yeah, she, like,
Like, not take it, like,
yeah, just in her mouth. And
Yeah.
her-
where she guesses a mouth is.
Do I just put this inside? Or
Yeah,
Giggity.
That's the joke.
yeah, but this is like, just, quick.
oh,
The
so that
Food stays when you let it go and your hands come out and they're... your hands aren't damp.
Yuki goes,
Giggity.
she like realizes how silly that was, and then just goes back to eating her meal. But her enthusiasm is just unpassed. As
Her-
she's eating a third and fourth helping and like looking at the kitchen like more and more.
They're so cute. Gobsy would say, if you knew a recipe or gave me enough time, I might be able to replicate that sauce.
I believe it is mostly just soybean. fermented, and then usually some ingredients added to help with the process. In my homeland, we just merely let it set. It is fantastic, salty. I miss it so much. And I also miss we used to make a rice wine in large quantities. But, I insulted the Cube once while having a few. And she takes a drink. The Cube thought it was kind of like yourself. You know. Likeable. I tried to feed her just as I did you.
Interesting.
I feel like it would be easier to put things in godly.
You can look at her hand.
Giggity.
Like, and then taking another bite.
Giggity!
Well, yeah, we're gonna feed into this lesbian energy a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
I ship it.
That's the thing,
ship
they
it.
do actually kind of get along. It's kind of great.
It's great. While we're just kind of hanging out since Gobsy's digesting, she's gonna pull out her lyre
Ah!
and try to play a song.
As you do, you see... go ahead and roll a performance check, for one.
Can I roll lyre proficiency or performance? Which one would you like?
Liar proficiency. Querying, charisma or dexterity, if you want to... Depending on how you want to play it.
It's a tool check. Do you have a proficiency? Or,
Yeah, I have
performance
proficiency. No, I have performance proficiency.
So that would be advantage with Xantar, right?
Yes, it would be.
Let me, hold on, cancel. Let me go advantage, and it's a +3 either way.
Your
I'll
choice.
play! Yeah. Can I query wisdom?
No, it'd be Dex. It'd be Dex or charisma for this.
I'll do charisma. I'll do it traditional, how's that?
Fair enough.
13 either way!
So with a 13, you do start to strum, and you actually are playing a nice melody, and the restaurant seems to, or the tavern seems to enjoy it. However, you do hear, woo-wee, and you look and see a possum who pulls out a banjo. I like it, and he joins in with you and creates a very different melody. It's if Beethoven was done with Southern instruments instead of
Redneck
traditional.
Beethoven.
Yep.
I'm going to roll a performance check and make popping noises along.
Awesome. I like it.
Let me see. Oh boy. Yeah.
Okay, well,
To add
you
like
guys
a
are-
bass, a deep kind of popping, like doof, doof.
Well,
like
you
a set
all
of
are being musical. Tara's just gonna be doing card tricks over here. You get this. You get the audio on Tara. We'll get the visual. Pulling out a playing deck of cards and just flicking him around.
It's a good time. I
It's
almost
time for the
forgot.
strength party.
Dobbsy can cook.
As you guys continue to play for a little while, the mood in the tavern seems to lighten up a bit, and as you are done playing, the possum kind of stands up and walks over. Well, now, I must say that was a bit of fun music. Oh, I'm sorry, terribly rude of me. I forgot to introduce myself. They call me Theo Bug Eater No Leg. And he pulls out his fake leg and then puts it back. Pleasure to meet you.
Oil drip. She'd put out her hand. Gobsy oil drip.
And he looks at your hand and then shrugs and shakes.
It's solid as far as it's concerned.
I'm gonna call you Tui. Banjo Tui.
I like that one. I ain't seen one of you liquidy folk. Like, is you an ooze? Like, again,
Yeah.
don't mean to offend.
No, it's all good.
Huh. You
From
gotta-
the what's the fucking ruins called?
Give me a moment and I will tell you.
Because it's no longer on the map. So I
No,
can't remember.
it's literally just called The Ruins.
Oh, I was made in the ruins.
Oh, my cousin Willie done tell me about that place. Yeah, that place super sketch. You sure you're from there?
Her originally, not entirely. A lot of traveling though.
Ah, okay. Well, if you say so, I guess you know better than I do. Gotta say though, it's kind of impressive to see somebody from there. Normally I heard the ooze ones was from way back west. But hey, nice to see you anyway. Gotta say.
Different variety, I think.
Oh yeah, I hear there's tons of oozekin coming up everywhere now. There's the gelatons, there's the oozes, the oozekin, and now I guess there's the... Oh, let's call you slime folk. I think that might work better.
Alright.
Gots to have them
I like-
distinctions.
She'd agree. Classification is a good thing.
All them $5 words. Anyway. You'd have no idea what $1 is.
No, she doesn't, but it's a term.
But presently, he kind of looks at you. So what brings y'all to Forest Haven? You trying to get into the thorny forest? Because I'll tell you what, you have a better time getting inside of an ant's hole than getting into there.
I'm
I
sorry.
think that just depends on the size of the ant.
Oh, I'm not talking about them giant funds that worship Insectus. Not them.
Oh, you mean the snack-sized ones?
Yeah! The regulars.
Yuki
right.
is slowly, looks over to Gobsy, and you can see that she's writing out what this guy is trying to say. And then you see her writing underneath it, trying to translate it, like it's a foreign language.
I will join in this deciphering attempt.
Yeah, because she's having a really hard time with this.
We were trying to get an escort to Force of the Gods. Is that where we're headed?
Grove of the Gods.
We're hoping to get an escort to the Grove of the Gods.
Woo-wee! You want to go all the way up there? All the way by them Lupine Mountains? Ah, woo! That's quite a long journey. Take you more than a dog's age to get there, I tell you what. Well, I ain't never been there myself. I don't know why you want to go up there. It's not really a fun place to go. Though the Grove of the Gods is supposed to be a spiritual adventure. But, well, he kind of shrugs. Possum ain't exactly one of the big wigs, so he barely gets a seat. Technically, though, they're called the Triumvirs. I don't know what that means. But there's like 3 of them. It's raccoon, possum, and what was the other one? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I ain't one of them mystical priesty types. That's just not me. But yeah, the Triumvirate. Right? All of you can roll an intelligence check to see if you can put together what the fuck he's saying.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
An intelligence
Yuki
check or
has disadvantage
save?
on this.
Oh, this is a check.
I mean, I'm not any better on the save.
Yeah, Yuki has no idea. She's so lost.
Of course, it's Gobsy.
Of course, it's Gobsy, right? I was like, watch me roll shit too.
So, the Triumvirate, you mean, he means the triarchy,
Oh.
which is basically a rule of 3 people. And you actually know the one he's missing. It's Weasel. It's Possum. It's Possum.
Raccoon and Weasel
Yep, Possum, Raccoon, Weasel.
is who we're going to go meet? Question mark?
No, that's the deity that's the deities that he's talking about. How they're barely in the grove. Like,
Oh,
they're not very powerful and they're not very, forward. So,
so possum, weasel, and raccoon aren't very prevalent there.
nah, see, they one of them smaller ones, and because they don't really, them legends, them big tall tales go, that because they just steal stuff, but are not quite as good at it as fox, or not quite as interesting as coyote, and don't do a lot like mole or beaver, they were just kind of thrown together as a triumvirate. And they just high worshippers. They're also not as evil as, let's say, Rat. And, I mean, it's not Rat's fault, He just, disease and pestilence. I mean, rats are dirty. He shrugs.
Rat actually quite.
You actually see a feral goblin, like, tilt her head and, like, look offended.
And then Goblin's like, but rats are like very clean. They're actually one of the most hygienic rodents of technicality rant of.
You see his eyes just glaze over.
Yeah.
Yuki leans in. I'm guessing not these rats.
Oh. I'm sorry.
I will sell them so. She says, nodding sagely.
I've been told that's called bird walking. I don't know why.
He shrugs. Anywho. But, no, I'm just passing through myself. I was headed on over down to my cousin Theo's place over in the swamp. Gotta get there before New Year's. Gotta bring in the New Year's right with the family. Big old family gathering. You should stop by sometime. But it looks like you just came from there from the smell of yous. No offense.
Taken.
Isn't it a prerequisite to be a family member to attend a family gathering?
What do you think about this? She'll admit.
I mean, nah, you could be guests. I mean, but to find out about the family gathering and where it is we normally hold it in Bogshot. That's where a lot of the family likes to go. Back in the long days ago, we actually used to hold it in the Village of the Mists, but back when it wasn't so misty. But that's a long day ago. Why is it misty? Well, you believe them legends, right? You believe them tall tales, like. And here, let me see the spell. And he frowns as he reaches into his bag and pulls out a contraption that he clicks, and eventually it forms into a rocking chair. And he sits down in it and begins to rock. Well, as my great grandpappy once told me, the town was once a thriving and a very place. It could be called the jewel of the swamp. Of course, back then it weren't so swampy, or so I was told. But, I never believed that. However, some plague kind of swept through the town, which wiped out about half the population. No sooner had they dealt with all that damn mess, than a large creature apparently began to prowl the swamps and, make life around it pretty nasty. The last of the population was driven out by a strange mist that seemed to swallow up the town and everybody who went in. They say you went in, you never came out. No one quite knows what it was or what happened to it. Some people say it was magic. Some people say it's Rat getting angry or trying out a new poison. Some people say it's the Maw and his new way of eating people. You never know these days. You never know. However, the wisdom of the triumvirate said that we should get the hell out. So we did. We didn't go far, though. At least not most of us. I mean, after all, Raccoon and Weasel still like the swamp. And we possum do, too, from time to time. But, I'm a bit what they call an odd duck. I like to travel a lot farther than my kin and cuz. So, I went. And, the descendants of the people who left still talk about it, as clearly I'm doing now. And I do warn that the mist, this is always told by my great grandpappy, the mist will spread one day. In fact, we believe that it's how it is. The whole world's going to come to an end. The Great Mist is gonna consume all life. We don't know what's gonna happen. It's gotten bigger.
Well, then all life will be missed.
Ha! That's a good one. I should write that down. And he pulls out what you think is like papyrus or paper or it's some utensil, and he pulls out a what am I looking for here? He pulls out a slightly congealed stick of something. You're not sure what it is, but he writes it down.
Fucking prehistoric style fucking pen.
Yep. And he kind of puts it back into his kit. Well, that's the story of the mists. People say that it happened though once the big old quaking done did what it done did. You know, shook the whole place apart. And that's why we ain't seen Mole since. Many people think Mole's not even in the Wildlands no more. Him and Worm. They think him and Worm went done somewhere way far away now. The triumph.
Oh, the fucking. Sorry, never mind. I'll get out to that later.
You just realized the dots just connected for you.
Yep.
Yeah, for someone who's played in another setting of this world.
Yep. But who knows? I don't keep track of no children or no gods. That's not my point. Although the great, and he like takes his hat off. The mother of all creation. Now God's bless her. She one fine lady, bringing all of us into the future, making sure all of us are great beings. And then he puts his hat back on his head. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
I'm still confused about Mole, but I definitely know Worm.
But presently, so if y'all want to get to the Grove of the Gods, well, yeah, I'll do a little favor for me. I'll do a little favor for you.
What?
And he pulls out a little bag. Can you please put this on the altar of the Triumvirate?
What is it?
It's a bunch of possum, weasel, and raccoon teeth. Some of them is mine. Some of them's I won in a bar fight. Some of them's I won's playing cards.
She'll take it and put it in her bag.
Thank you mighty kindly. And next time you ever find yourself down there in Bogshot, you be sure to tell them you friends with old Theo. And Theo will tell, and Theo's company and grace will bless you even there. Alright?
Alright. Added 1 Theo's bag of teeth.
Oh, right.
Yuki says, I have no clue what just happened. Like, none of this.
Yeah.
Same. I recognize words, but like no context is given between them. It is an ancient language I cannot decipher.
It is a foreign tongue. It's like you're speaking French and someone's speaking Spanish and you think you can understand them and then just give up.
No, it is worse. It is like someone is pretending to speak French, but with a Spanish accent. Like none of the words are real.
And the other person is trying to speak French with a bad Spanish accent. I can't English.
With a
God
bad
damn.
French accent.
There you go. Yes, trying to speak Spanish with a bad.
And it is just a
Aye.
hot mess.
Bleh. What is English? Because obviously I can't.
A language that mugs other languages in dark alleys for spare syntax and grammar.
Grammar on common is already hard enough. So, or bird folk. So this is, yeah.
It's beast folk.
Or beast folk, yeah, is pretty tenuous at best. So,
You actually see him kind of nod. Well, I basically be going. I was only sitting here to rest a spell, And he stands up and he extends a hand to you again, Gobsy.
She shakes it.
Bon ton chien bon bon. And with that, he leaves.
Fucking what? One more time.
Bon ton chien bon bon. Yeah, that was not a language any of you know.
Now
So-
you're just doing it on purpose.
Yeah, no, that was intentionally on purpose.
Gobsy nods like the sage nod of like, yes, good conversation.
Yuki, as he leaves, looks over the table.
He said rest a spell? Are we cursed?
Gobsy,
I believe
no,
it's
he just
a
had
figure
a.
of speech, meaning he just wanted to rest a while.
Well, what just happened?
He asked. He said, Gobsy's like, oh, he wants me to give a bag of teeth to the gods when we arrive.
I'm gonna put my hand on your forehead to check for a fever.
For Gobsy?
Gobsy?
Yes.
I was like, me? Yes.
Apparently, Gobsy was the least awkward of us all.
And then you feel like you're touching have you ever put your tongue on a battery?
Yeah.
You know how it's not like a shock, but it kind of is like that low tingly feeling as electricity moves. That's what you feel on the palm of your hand. Tingly.
Yeah. I'm just gonna take my hand off.
It's very
We'll just
Theodore.
assume you're not okay.
Theodore, one of the cats go over and just raises both of their paws.
I'm scared. I don't know what was being said.
Hug me, I'm scared. I don't know what was being said. Oh!
The stranger
Gobsy-
came over and yelled at us during dinner.
Gobsy would begin to recite what he said in how he said it, but in Gobsy's voice. What he had said.
It's slightly more intelligible, but not by much.
Not by
think
my.
Somewhere in the middle of that,
There's no accent, which makes it a little better, but not by my.
somewhere in the middle of Gobsy doing this, Altera's going to grab a handful of tubers and try to shove them in her mouth.
The noise persists despite the mouth being stuffed with food. You're not sure that's how she talks. She does it for mostly show.
Presently, though, the commotion has seemed to woken Rock. And he stands up straight. You watch as the entire tavern seems to straighten up, and you turn and see Silva, and he is not alone. Next to him is a fox. This fox.
Is it a fox person? Oh, it's like a fox person,
So this
Do we have more short foxes?
it's more like a Nick Wilde fox.
Like a kitsune?
No, like Nicholas Wilde from Zootopia, like an actual
I
fox.
I forget Nick's name. Nick's last name is Wilde.
Yeah, it's a Nicholas Wilde from Zootopia. And he is wearing traveling clothes. A lot of cottons and soft fabrics that are meant to travel long ways. Lots of flowing clothes to deal with either heat or cold. And a ton of books that are just kind of dangling off of him. And a massive backpack that's almost as tall as he is. And he is looking battered, to say the least. Like, he looks like he's been riding or running. He looks really jacked the fuck up.
Does he look like he's been in a fight?
Probably not he himself, but he's definitely been running through the foliage of the world. However, Silva kind of points. You may all follow me. My chief seems to be eager to meet you. And with that, he kind of gestures for you guys to follow him.
Didn't we just get rooms? Did anybody leave anything in their rooms?
Nope.
No, we were shown the rooms, then we came down for dinner right away.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't know if anybody left their stuff in the rooms.
I didn't.
And we had also just been. It was just that they had wanted to meet with us, not that we were leaving now.
Oh, no, yeah, no. Silva's telling you to follow him because his chief wants to meet you.
Which means we're leaving now.
No, we're going to meet the chief.
Yes,
That means we're traveling through the forest.
this is correct.
So,
All
we'll
of
go back.
all of these facts are correct.
I'm
we have
I'm just gonna
we
ignore
have a room
Altera.
when we come back.
Say that one more again, Yuki.
So we have a room when we come back. But for now, we must meet this chieftain. And please tell me he does not speak the same.
Same what?
The same as...
They just motion in the general direction of that other guy, and then holds up her notes with all, like, her writing down the exact, like, trying to translate it.
He kind of frowns as he tilts his head. I'm not sure I know of who you speak, but the chief speaks fairly plain.
Everyone was confused but Gobsy.
Yuki is, like, so sad and confused. And then just so happy to hear.
He nods. Well, come along then. And he leads you out. Below are several large wolves that you are able to all ride. Dire wolves, essentially. He picks the fox creature up carefully and sets him as it is a him. Oliver.
Yes.
You would be best to recognize the age of this particular species. Go ahead and roll a intelligence or wisdom check. Your choice. Yuki, this species is not unknown to you, so you would have a chance to roll it as well.
Wisdom, no,
or
no
intelligence.
Stats, but no, like, survival or anything.
No actual like skill like that.
Okay, cool. Wisdom it be?
Oliver, you know that this is a young member of his species. This is a Vulp. He is different than the Vulpine, the Vulpine. Excuse me, I'm getting my pronunciation all fucked up. He is different than the Vulpine in that his people are rumored to be werefoxes that just lost their humanity. That's kind of the general accepted origin of his people. He is also a child by their standards. You put him at their age about 10. Which you know that typically Wolfen are full grown at 16. So he is a child by his people's standards. And you notice that Silva is very careful with him. Seems to understand the same thing you do. However, as you note that, you guys mount up. There are elves on the wolves to help you get up, except for you, Tyrdor. There is just a big dire wolf just for you. Not to put any undue stress on the creature itself.
Oh, okay.
And you watch as Silva leads you all to the edge of the forest. And he... Yes?
I do have one thing just before this happens.
Mm-hmm.
Could I leave all my kittens behind to do sales and things like that?
Yeah, certainly.
Since we have a room, so... Yep. And it'll also explain why I don't have, like, my draft horse and everything.
Yeah.
Cool.
As he reaches the edge of the forest, he speaks a few words, and you actually watch as the forest seems to curve and curl, forming a covered road. And he leads his wolf, or rather his mount, because he rides the big super tiger, basically. And as he rides forward, the wolves follow after, and they take off. It takes you guys not even an hour before the forest changes. It started off as oaks, ashes, thorns, Very hardy trees, but very, very much trees that could stand to be in most climates. As you get further in, you're starting to see willows and not quite so many oaks, but a lot of willows, a lot of pines, and coniferous trees instead of deciduous. And yet you see pale blue lights dancing even further ahead as these trees press even closer. And you find yourselves in the middle of a small clearing. This small clearing seems to be a town center, as in the middle is a fountain. The fountain is made of natural stone as a base, and then a sculpted stone statue of a great wolf is in the center. The water is pouring from the wolf's mouth, and is in the center here. It seems to be on its own little island of dirt around with this fountain kind of around it. And you notice that there are only feral elves here. All of them have lupine traits to them, with the exception of one. One of the elves here actually seems to have his lupine traits, while they might be hinted at, they seem to have been grown over and created by nature. As he kind of moves forward and kind of shakes his head free, and you catch a glimpse of Galen, the druid that you all knew, or that you saw with Silva at first. However, this is a very different form than you've seen him in. Those of you who get probably understand that it's a disguise. And he goes up to a large throne. The throne is a chair, a great chair made of antlers, skins, furs, and other things of that nature. And he sits down inside of it. Or rather, he stands next to it. As he does, he speaks. Guests, and you all are helped to dismount, except for you, Teardor, because you're able to dismount on your own. You're all kind of gathered to stand in front of it, but Galen continues to speak. Guests, allow me to introduce the mighty Goldrin. And he gestures, and you watch as a massive elf, standing at about 6'9", 6'10". He is Grog as an elf. I'm gonna put it that way. He is dressed in only furs, again wolf furs, and on his back is a massive great axe. And he gently sets it down, and you notice that the axe itself is made of a very interesting looking metal. It almost looks green and has leaf print inside of it. The handle is made of some type of horn or some type of ivory. As he sits down in the throne, though, he kind of speaks. I am Goldrin, leader of the Lupine clan of the Feral Elves, as you would know us. We know ourselves as the Wolfheart tribe. Welcome, and be welcomed. I will address you in the order in which you have arrived. And he points to Oliver and the rest of you. You are the first visitors. I hear I owe you a debt, as you have returned our speaker for the pack. And he gestures to Silva. Oh no, have all the talkie people walked away?
No, we thought they were just gonna continue.
Yeah.
No, he stopped there.
Oh, okay. Gobs.
Because yeah, he was like, "I'll address you in the order you arrived," so I thought it was going to go through us.
Yes, we have saved your man. Uh, she says, motioning. And we have made sure that he made it home safe.
Hmm. He nods. Very good. It is right that you do so. And we will not forget this debt. And he then kind of nods his head. I must admit, though, I grieve for the loss of so many new hunters. Did you need to take them so far, Master Hunter? And you actually see Silva just give him a look, and he just raises a hand almost a little. There's a power dynamic here where, yeah, he may sit there, but he sits there because Silva kind of allows that.
Mhm.
Apologies, Wolfkin. I meant no ill will. It is a grievous loss to lose so many young, though. And he nods. He then kind of looks to the rest of you. I have heard that you saved him from those, the children of Sobek. I am grateful that they were not fed to the maw. My people are children of Wolf, the great hunter. It is sad that the maw has decided to make an enemy of the wolf. But hopefully this is an isolated incident. Again, Silva just kind of rolls. Silva makes a face. And you can almost, let's see, he would actually be closest to Tyrador. You can hear a soft snort.
I am no expert in these matters, but isn't nature always in conflict with one another?
He actually shakes his head. There was a time that we were unified. An ancient god that many of us have forgotten. Mantu, the unifier. It was Mantu that guided the children of the wilds, the children of the mother, to build and create. It was he who taught us to use tools. It was he who taught us to utilize beaver, mole, and other gods of creation and construction. It was he who helped guide us to learn the music of our mother, hence her name, the Music Mother. He was a powerful deity in his time. But after the great calamity, the sundering, as some call it, or shattering as is more commonly known. After that time, Mantu seemed to disappear from the world. We have no idea where he went, and thus we descended into chaos, into the old ways of fang and claw. Not necessarily a bad thing. It is only that many of the children have grown silent with the birds in ascendance. Though Aviana seems to have quieted as well. It is a sorrow that the mother of birds can no longer speak. And he waves a hand. But some of you are foreign, and some of you do not seem like you know of these trials or these burdens. So I will not burden you with their knowledge. However,
He kind of nods, but then says, but it sounds like in practice.
in practice, there is a balance to all things. A circle, you might say.
Then to defend your master huntsman, he did only what is necessary.
Indeed. Killing those who kill ours is exactly as the world decrees. Blood pays for blood. Life pays for life. For every one of ours that fell, at least one of theirs fell. So, the scales are in balance. Peace can be negotiated, should they choose, though we will not be entering the swamps for some time. We only entered out of necessity, as we heard that children of the Wild Ones could be seen there, and we were looking for signs that Wolf was in ascendance.
And Yuki kind of frowns a little bit for a moment, listening to this and going, "That is not." You see her, and then try not to argue with this guy. Obviously, she kind of lets it go.
But I hear that you need a guide to the Grove of the Gods, and that you have one among you who... He smells and tilts his head. Two among you who are blessed by the wilds. Who among you are they?
Yuki, wait, because it's a weird situation with her. But she is not of the wilds, but blessed by the wild.
Not Yuki.
Not Yuki. I remember who, but
Yeah.
Gobsy doesn't know.
No, I mean just it's a little bit more complicated in this case.
Yeah, I'm not gonna speak up.
I'm a friend to the children.
He nods as
Tara's just looking at the ever-directional compass and picturing the location of the Grove of Gods in her head.
he looks to you, Oliver. You are friend to the children. Are you like our druid here? And he gestures.
I believe so.
Very well. You are welcome, and I am sure that our resident druid would be honored to speak with you at a later time. However, so long as there is at least one among you who is blessed by the wilds, then you will be able to arrive at the grove. Silva, our wolfkin, can guide you in, but he will not be able to speak to any but Wolf, should Wolf deign to speak. Though, how long was it since last you heard Wolf's song, Wolfkin? And you actually look at Silva Silva has been pretty stalwart and pretty, just a pretty standing, strong-looking guy. And then you actually watch his age seems to creep over him, and a lot of his strength seems to leave him, as he says, 20 years. As the younger races count. 20 cycles. 20 of the great cycles, even. It is a concern. Normally, Wolf is never so quiet. We have spoken to our fellows, our sister and cousin clans. The Boar Tusk clan says that Gorex is constantly in contact with them. Our brothers in the other clans, the Owl Folk clan, says that Owl speaks pretty constantly, though that is no great surprise. Though the Bearkin of the Bearclaw clan and speaker for Ursok, the great warrior, says that even his god is in ascendance and speaks freely. It is a concern. We have not had a chance to speak to the Pawprint tribe. They are a very great distance, chieftain. Yes, I am aware, Wolfkin. I am aware. Still, All of the other kins seem to have no trouble speaking to their deities, but Wolf has grown silent. If you would go to the Grove of the Gods, I do task a favor. And a quest, if you are willing.
Sure.
I am.
Galzi looks expectantly.
He stands and he pulls out a small necklace. This necklace is made of wolf's teeth and claws, and he walks over to you, Oliver, and bends down to hand it to you. This is the charm of Wolf. It was given to the very first Wolfkin. It is the honor that I have as chieftain to keep it safe. The Wolfkin, and he looks over at Silva, in times of great hardship can wear it to summon forth the children of Volk, the great wolf, and defend this village and its people. We have not had to use it. The true purpose of it is that should our deity ever grow silent, we can go to the grove and use this to help bring an essence of him forward so that we may speak with him. We do not have a powerful enough druid to do so. We hope that you will do this for us.
You want me to keep it?
And take it to the altar of Wolf. You will know it. He is, for all his quiet, for as of late, he is one of the inner circle. Oliver and Yuki, you recognize that phrase. The Grove of the Gods is said to be set up in a circular pattern, and each ring is denoted a circle. The closer to the center you are, where the Music Mother's altar is, the more powerful the deity. The further out you are, the less powerful. The furthest ring is called the Outer Circle, and it is where the dead deities or the weakest deities go. For instance, deities like Elephant and Dragon. Both are known to be dead gods in this world.
The trifecta?
No, the triarchy is in that circle as well.
Yeah, I'm saying they're in the outer circle.
Yeah. They're not dead,
three
though.
of them to one altar.
Yeah, exactly. But you do know that this is where those rely. The middle circle, it goes the outer circle, the middle circle, the inner circle.
And the center, I imagine.
The center is where the Music Mother sits.
Yeah, and then outward gods.
And you do know, Oliver, you know, actually, that the altars change location. You have heard it said that since Nest has grown strong, Raven, Owl, Hawk, and Eagle, and even Phoenix have moved to the center, or towards the center. They have grown in power. Yuki, you know that Junko is considered one of the inner circle deities as of late.
Kind of the position of Cube probably is kind of considered divine authority, right?
Yes and no. How the QB is decided, but definitely it's figured that Junko blessed the QB to take that position. Or that the QB represents the best qualities of Junko.
Well, wait. The position's older than her.
Yes.
Okay.
No, Junko is the name of the nine-tailed goddess.
Okay, yeah, we had to dial this back a little bit, because, I was getting confused between three different concepts.
You know,
Because that's also the name taken by the current QB.
Exactly.
Okay.
And she has used that to her great effect.
Yeah.
You almost think that she knew that coming here.
Oh yeah, no, she definitely did. That's
But
not
anyway.
so yeah, so it's more the position. Yeah, got it. Got it.
However, presently speaking, he nods. I thank you for accepting this task for us, oh ally to the wilds. He says, looking to you, Oliver, and bows his head. I know that you are likely a worshipper of Owl yourself, but we appreciate it.
I'll do what I can. And Oliver will bow back.
He then looks to the Volp. You are young, and you are... And he inhales again, just deep. You have traveled through blood, steel, and death. What has brought you so far from home? I know little of your people. We have only ever heard legends of your people. We have rarely seen one. And the little Volp, there's war in our home. They came by ship and portal. We don't know where they come from. They've burned forests. They've destroyed Earth. They brought strange deities with them. They seek to subjugate or destroy. And you see as everyone as all the elves who are listening kind of tilt their heads. Who is they? We call them the furless ones. They call themselves humans. And he pulls up a book. And the book the book is very traditional in the traditional binding of books. However, on the front is a warhammer banging against an anvil. And he holds it up. Papa managed to steal this from them. It is proof that they exist. We scattered to the winds to all four directions to find allies. I don't know where the rest of my caravan is. And Goldrin takes the book. It is very small in his massive hands, and he looks through it. Silva walks up next to him, and they both look at it and frown. And they actually look to Teardor and Gobsy at this point. Can you read this? And he spins it around. It is written in common, the human tongue.
Gobsy does know that.
Yeah.
Teardor, you would know it too.
Yeah.
He, as you both say, yeah, we can. He kind of frowns. What is it? What does it say?
Gobsy would outstretch her hand to begin to examine the tome.
As you open the first page, it reads, "The dictates of Krull, the father of all."
She'd begin to recite the book, like what's on the page.
As you open
Granted, Gobsy isn't from the...
Oof.
What?
Sorry, I was popping my fingers. What were you saying?
Yeah, Gobsy isn't from the, where Teardor's from.
The Sovereignty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not from the Sovereignty.
And Teardor, you don't recognize this deity at all. But as you read, it reads that, "So he created you in his image, him with the mother, him with the wife Rhea. They created you so that you may rule over all. It is Krull who taught us to tame Bovia and to master Aquitos. It is Krull who empowered us to slay bear, wolf, and creature of evil. We
It's translating.
Yep, she's translating. We are the tamers of the world, and we are its rulers. Let all the lessers bow to us, or bow in the grave. Do not suffer the weak to rule. Do not bow before monsters or beasts, and enslave all that are useful. And it goes on to basically parables of when Krull fought Equidos, who is the god of horses, as you can kind of extrapolate.
She'd read that front page and then begin to read through the book.
Equidos, the horse god, it was him who, the god of all non-donkeys. It was the taming of Krull that let him empower him to destroy and conquer Bovia, the cow, the life giver. Basically, all bovine are associated with her.
What? Kinda read over it, give footnotes, read over it, give footnotes. Give cliff notes.
Tyrador, you actually know Bovia. She is one of the ancient Minotaur deities. That is not the story that you know of her, though. You have never heard this story, and, yeah, it's not, like, you're not okay with this story as, like, a cultural thing. The idea that someone would take... I mean, fair enough. But the idea that someone could beat and tame and enslave Bovia is offensive as a cultural fact.
Yep. I know of Bovia, but this is not how I know Bovia. This is offensive.
What are the other stories in here? She would pause to think and go to the one about Wolf.
You actually see that Wolf seems to be the greatest protagonist or antagonist to the story of Krull. Because Wolf is cunning, and Wolf is also Wolf is depicted as strong but a coward, and yet he is cunning enough to be a worthy opponent. He never attacks alone, he always attacks as a part of a group. He hunts the weakest of Krull's children in order to slay them and devour them, and he is somehow able to gain their strength by devouring them. This is a very vilification of Wolf. You find an entry about Bear and Cougar. Bear is depicted as a force of nature who is stupid, but who is powerful and needs to be, approached carefully. Cougar is depicted as only a minor pest and very rarely a concern. Krull's current conquest is attempting to subjugate Malor, the stag, and Gorex, the boar. He is attempting to subdue them and bring them under his heel so that he may always benefit from the meat of their children. It is said that Donkey is a willing companion to Horse or Equidos.
Yeah.
In this book, it is said that the birds do not matter, for they are insignificant before Krull's grand design, as no bird may ever threaten the greatness of Krull. It is also said that the insects of the world, no matter their name or form, are easily squashed under Krull's boots. This whole book is basically... welcome to the Imperium of Man.
Yeah.
Must kill all non-humans.
Yeah, Yuki's kind of just rolling her eyes at this because...
But in the beginning it said
totally
he
just propaganda.
slayed Wolf, right?
It says he slays Wolf constantly. There are many things where he has attacked and slain Wolf, but Wolf does rise again to challenge him, be it in a different color or shape, but Wolf is a primordial force that he keeps having to fight again and again.
She'd check the publishing date.
The publishing date is listed as year of. It reads Year of Our Great Empire 396.
How old does this book look?
This particular copy looks it's not a first
Not freshly minted?
not freshly minted, but also not that old. Like the parchment is still very good and still full of life.
So no more than a decade.
Yeah, no more than a decade. Also from the look of this book was like it's printed. Like a printing press printed.
This was printed by machine, and maybe only a decade ago.
You see everyone tilt their heads in confusion. Tyrador, you've heard vague stories about goblins and gnomes having some kind of printer that they call it, where they can mass produce books. You're not a huge book guy, so
I would say, yeah, Yuki would.
Yuki has never heard of this.
Are you sure?
The Kingdom of Grain and Rice has never heard of this.
Alright.
There is a reason.
He's a big anything.
There's a reason Kenku exists, because that's their printing press.
Yeah. I got it. Yeah, I got what our equivalent is.
Yep.
She would say, but the note of, this is no more than a decade old. If this god is fighting Wolf, that might be why Wolf is silent.
You feel
Trying to stop them.
You feel the whole of the forest lean in to hear that sentence, and then you can all feel a tension building in the air.
Can Gobsy?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Goldrin offers his hand to the book. Offers his hand for the book.
She'd hand what she's read. She kind of skimmed the whole thing. Would hand it back. It's not hers.
Yuki is going to kind of, in her own way, to lighten the mood.
Well, for a bit there, I thought we were in actual danger.
She smiles, looking at the book.
The youth go ahead, Oliver.
Oliver spits on the ground.
The youth, the young Volp, they have killed many of our tribes and clans. We need help, but they've blocked the mountains. They rule the seas. We can't swim. Please. And he just starts to cry. He can't hold it anymore. Silva is actually the first to react and kind of picks up the young Volp and carries him off.
Before Silva carries him off, Altera's going to come over, pat him on the shoulder. They speak of putting lessers in their place. Don't worry, we'll put them in the ground.
He nods. By Fang and Claw.
Aw.
And
By Beak and Talon. Altera would nod with what you could hear as a grin.
Yuki just kind of smiles, and you see her look over at the firearm. Look at her gun.
Or we beat them with our own tools.
presently,
It would be when she says we'll beat them with our own tools. Bobsy, with smoke and oil.
With smoke and oil.
Presently though, Goldrin frowns as he watches Silva take the young Volp away, and he you can watch as he's been clenching his fist for a while, and you can actually see the book curling, almost like someone's rolling a newspaper, but the book is just curling up in his hand.
Big boy.
The
Sorry.
Lupine lands, they were not always cut off from the rest of us. There was a time that Volp, Coyote, and even Loop were commonplace among the South. We wondered why they had seemed to leave the southern lands. And now we know. And you watch as he actually gets bigger, and you watch his fur kind of covers over him, as you realize he is a werewolf. And he
You said stay as
Oh.
such.
he does just kind of let it show. And he looks to the rest of his people. We will send scouts north to the Lupine Mountains, the Mountains of Fangs. We will call upon our sisters and brothers in the other clans to find out all they can to find us a path through the mountains. He looks down to you guys. I ask that if you can assist us, assist him, and he gestures to the retreating figure of Silva, clearly indicating the loop, or the Volp, excuse me. If any aid can be offered, we would take it.
Yuki sighs for a moment.
You already said you are in our debt, no?
You watch as he turns and looks at you. His eyes flash, but he nods. Yes.
And you have not yet repaid that debt. And yet you ask for another task? You must understand where I'm coming from here.
He holds the book up. If these humans conquer the Lupine lands, then they will move south and conquer and kill. The Nest does not seem to know of them. The Free Skies does not seem to know of them. None of my people knew of them before this little Volp gave all to get here. I am told he showed up in Thornlands, which is a small town about 2 days northwest of the Thorny Forest, begging for aid and nearly dead. His pleas happened to catch the ears of one of my scouts. Upon hearing that he comes from the Lupine lands, I knew he had to come see me. The world and these humans, if they are able to conquer the Lupine and enslave them, we will have an enemy that none of us have dared to dream of. The Lupine are not many, but they are mighty. One Lupine is the equivalent of all of you. One.
Yuki very much doubts that. Yeah, you see her face kind of fall, because, she looks over at her rifle and goes, yeah, no.
Not only that, but the Lupine lands themselves are filled with children of Wolf. If these creatures can destroy or enslave children of the Wild Ones, then we have a much bigger problem. Yes, I ask you to assist because we are taking you to the Grove of the Gods, which is a payment for keeping my wolfkin alive. Otherwise, I doubt you would even get there in any timely fashion.
It seems to me as if we were doing a few other tasks.
Looking over at that necklace. Yuki at least, understands the negotiation game, and that basically she feels they're getting the raw end of the deal here.
He looks at you. You are not doing that task, as you could never do it. I am asking a friend of the wilds, not a cat who reeks of machine and oil.
Yeah, there's a cross-turn. I saved your hunter. Along with my companions, yes, but I have also participated. You will treat me with respect.
Do you understand? I am not merely to be threatened or to be talked down to, even in your lands. And she crosses her arms, and you see her stand up with a kind of, how should I put it? Confidence.
Defiancy.
It's not defiance as so much pride.
He
I can stand as tall as you, despite being a few feet.
he kneels down and is still like looking down at you. But he says, "You are a shadow of what you could be in your home. You would remember that your authority extends no further than that wall. And that in this world, Fang and Claw are the deciders."
And I have proven that I have both. Do not. And she looks over at the hunter.
Who's
Silva,
going-
Silva is gone from this point.
Yeah, or where he left. And
Mhm.
just giving hint that this is one of your own, and look at what happened to him. Look at what many of your hunters. Fang and Claw is all well and good. But I am alive and they are not.
With that, he nods. Yes. But would those 5 kittens be alive if you were not here?
She considers it for a moment. No.
You would have given much to protect them, or would give much to protect them, would you not? Even
I
your
have
own freedom.
I have given a lot of things.
My hunter, my wolfkin, did no different.
And you should respect that then. Because Yuki's going back to the point where you've kind of treated me poorly here.
He looks at you and shakes his head. We operate differently than you. Customs are different. However,
And
I
yet
am...
you want us to work together? You have done nothing to earn my trust. You've done nothing to have me side with you.
He
I am
he looks at you and just
on
kind
behalf of my homeland. I am offended. I am disappointed.
He kind of tilts his head. And where was your homeland when the nest rained fire from the skies? Where was your homeland when the nest took over, hiding behind their wall? You are from a land of cowards. And so
You
it is
call
you.
me a coward. Look at where you are, isolated in your woods. Your clan's split.
Ladies,
You not
ladies,
give me
you're
a
both
lesson
pretty.
in this.
He simply stands. You can choose not to help, or you can choose to help. Either way, we will be investigating these lupine lands. We may be spread, but we are not split. The Feral Elves, as they know us, are a united front. However, we know our limitations, as you should do well to learn yours.
Oh, I understand my limitations. Yuki says, very much like, no, she knows she's not.
He then looks to you, Oliver, as he has clearly dismissed Yuki.
Mhm.
I thank you for your friendship in this matter, Wild Keeper. He then...
I'm a friend of the children. I don't mind doing favors that aid them.
He nods. As we all should strive to be.
You
And-
said there is much danger coming, which means even you are in danger too. What use is a favor from a dead man?
He smiles. Indeed. What use is a favor from the dead? It is a good question. However, My people will not die quickly, and while we are alive, we have many ways to travel throughout the world. We can travel through forests, though not as great a leap as we once were able. Still, getting from here to the Ursine Wood to the north is a little hop, skip, and jump, as the children say. The only problem is when you cross the Great Plains. To reach the Grove of the Gods, you will need to either pass through the River Den or through Elephant's Rest. Those of you who are natives to Wildland know Elephant's Rest as the site where Elephant, the great elephant, died. Where he and Lion had their final battle, which ended in Elephant's death. You would then travel you could then travel to Savannah or head straight to the Grove, depending on your supply needs. He then extends a hand to you, Oliver. I will see to it that the Ursine, as well as my own, equip you for the journey ahead.
Is it like a hand, like a handshake?
Yes.
Oh yeah, she'll shake his hand.
He nods. He then looks to the lot of you. Some of you are not from this land, and some of you seem to be different. I propose, and I make the statement before all of you, in confidence that you are not enemies. That if you go against the nest, you shall have the backing of all the elves. I can bring them to bear. You have done much and will do much, of that I am certain. I can feel it in the trees that the time to challenge the nest is coming.
Well, that's a relief.
Though whether or not we will win, I do not know. If you find a denizen of the free skies, do be sure to treat with them. They are the opposite of the nest. They are trying, covertly, to spread their rebellion, one might call it, and trying to unite. Though, he kind of frowns, they are far to the north and far to the west. They are in the ruined lands. The seas of the future are where they make their home, their nest. Though, if you go to the ruins of old in the Dead Sea, you will find the beginnings of where they came from. He kind of frowns as he looks to you, Tyrdor. You have a scent from a land that I do not recognize. Are you one of these worldly travelers I hear of?
Yes, sir.
And where is this land of yours?
Do I even know off the top of my head? Like, compass ring?
Technically, you're far to the east. Like, the Wildlands is as west goes, or so your people believe.
Okay.
So you're towards the east. You would be, as you would put it, you would be as east goes.
Okay. I'll just say this then. Your enemies do not lie out east.
If your land comes here and chooses to make war with the nest, then I will be with them, and I will lead the elves here to be with them. They know that we are the voice of the trees. He then frowns, though I do not know how your nation will get armies here. It seems they are forced to deal with the nest, and the nest is troublesome.
There's always ways around troublesome individuals.
He looks down. He finally looks at you again, Yuki, and actually tilts his head. If any would know how to get to the ruins of old, it would be the so-called wise people of the kingdom. The Dead City or the Dead Isle might give you a foothold, should your people have magic sufficient to bring them from great distances.
The Cubay is considered one of the greatest of our time. Not even amongst just us.
He says, thinking about it, And actually, you mentioned the some of the council or some of the, I forgot what the name of the group of individuals leading are.
Give me a sextant.
Yeah.
1 second, I might have to dig real deep in my school bag for that.
The Council of Nine.
And amongst the Council of Nine, there is more than a few highly skilled in the ways of magic.
My people can teleport great distances via the plants. It is something that it is an old trick that we know. Unfortunately, some of the plants, specifically those in the aviary, are not as strong as they used to be, though I can only guess as to why this is. Still, it is not a pressing concern. Getting to the Ursine Wood will be your first step on this journey. But should you have those skilled in magic of teleportation, you would do well to set it up in the ruins of old. Some say the magic there is chaotic, and yet is looking for a reason to be activated.
Was that where I'm from?
No. You are from the Ruins, which is the Scourged Swamp. It's just called the Ruins. The Ruins of Old refers to the remnants of a civilization that was destroyed in the Shattering.
Oh.
Supposedly it's where the humans, elves, and dwarves lived way back in the ancient times.
Before the plague.
Before the plague and before the supercontinent was shattered.
Oh. Fun.
In fact, it's part of that. It's part of the Shattering and then the following plague that created the Dead Sea, which Oliver and Gobsy and Altera would know as a sea of undeath, where undead creatures roam the waters, seem to nest in the shores, and are actually a genuine problem. In fact, it's even said that if you stay too long in the Dead Sea, you will become an undead.
Fascinating.
I'd be
Pretty
familiar
cool.
with that one.
Yeah, your people don't fish the Undead Sea, which is why fish, while plentiful, is a rarity. You rely on Edgeton to supply all your fish.
Yep.
It is not
I
ideal.
remember this little bit, totally.
Yep. But presently speaking, if the feline takes you there, then you would do well to see if they can get you to the ruins of old. Though I warn you that the Dead Sea is a perilous journey, even by the air. There is a reason that the nest does not fly over it.
I would suggest stepping by my homeland. The Cubay has some experience with dealing with it, as do my people, before making any such journey. What little power I have is a mere seller of scent, of course.
He snorts. But presently, the path to your inn shall be opened again. I am afraid this is the last time you will step foot in the Wolf's Grove. However, do know that you always have an ally in Thorny Forest, as well as the other feral elves once word of what is happening spreads. If you find yourselves in a forest, you would do worse. There are worse ideas than howling for help. He then looks to all of you, gives you a polite bow, and gestures the way you came, and sure enough, you see the passageway. The wolves are still there waiting, and as you all mount up, you...
Could I, because I have one last little thing. Because this will be the last time I get to see him. Since this will be the last time we meet, yeah, as my companions are kind of leaving and everything.
He looks down at you and nods.
If you want us to be united, you cannot dismiss what I am. Just because I am machine and metal.
He looks at you a little more seriously, and he kneels down. Many of the Wildlands would see your kingdom burned for letting it let the nest run rampant. We do not agree with your policy to hide behind that wall. Many of us resent you for it, as a matter of fact. The reason the kingdom of grain and rice has so few allies beyond its borders is because we wish you all dead for leaving us to the birds. Your kingdom has much to apologize for.
If you wish us dead, you very much clearly have to understand that there's no reason for us to work with you.
He holds a hand up.
You have much to apologize for if you wish to kill us, over protecting our own interest, which, as far as I've been told, is many of your stories.
He, again, waves a hand. I do not have the desire to kill you. I have the desire to see you be an ally to the rest of us. I am older than your walls. I am older than your ancient of cubies. I am as old as many of these trees. We are nearly immortal in our woods. Time does not pass as it does out there. But this is the sentiment shared by many of the towns and peoples of the Wildlands.
And in many ways shared by you. Unknowingly or knowingly, you have made comments on my station, on the station of others, and you are holding me responsible for past sins.
You are a representative of your people, as I am of mine. As every feral elf is a representative of our people. It is the unfortunate of nature is that one among the pack represents the whole pack. Agree or disagree, like it or not, this is the facts. It is unfortunate, but it is what it is. I believe that all of the Wildlands can unite to throw off the nest. We have united in the past before. The stories of some of these trees tell of a time when all of us united against many evils. A plague of undeath, in fact. Though that is considered legend even among the most ancient of these trees. I look forward to seeing you prove that I am right in my wisdom that we can all be united again. But you will face much harsher critics than I.
Yuki kind of sighs, and you see her, throw the rifle over her shoulder, and she sighs for a moment. And you just see her shuffle through one of her bags, and she leaves a small gift. A peace offering.
He takes the gift and looks it over.
I wish to combine the scent with the scent of the grove.
He inhales and then seems to think. It would be an addition worthy of gods and groves, but allow me to add something. He reaches up and actually plucks a few strands of his fur from one of his pieces and actually hands them to you. As you put them to your nose, you can smell the crispness of the forest as if it just came out for rain. You can smell the musk of wolves and the thrill of the hunt within it. Some of these smells are physical. For instance, the scent of wolves, the scent of the forest. Some of these are more emotional and feelings-based, such as the thrill of the hunt. However, you also sense the circle, the cycle he was talking about. You can sense it in these strands of fur. Adding this should help improve it.
She just nods because the magics are different.
The magics are different, but you can definitely see that there is a harmony between them. And with that,
you see her relax a little bit, and despite her pride, despite everything she did before, she'll give a bow. I will merely sow the scent.
He actually returns the bow, and is very, is respectful enough about it. Definitely more respectful than his words ever showed. But he gestures. You have much to do, Feline. You and your mere selling. He says with a smirk, as you clearly understand that he knows.
Yeah, he at least knows that she's something more.
But as you all mount up and make your way back to your inn, you find it has grown even later. What felt like only a couple hours has probably been a lot more, though you're not entirely sure. However, your inn is waiting for you, and you guys are welcomed, and your rooms are comfortable. There are many hammocks made of giant leaves, kind of a la Tarzan, that your cats are sleeping in, Yuki.
Yeah, because the cats were either working or probably going to sleep.
You see that there are some new coins to be counted. And there is a new bottle to be inspected. But we shall do that next time. As the last thing I leave you with is that Oliver.
Yeah.
And just out of curiosity, as a druid of the wilds, is there any religious context behind your druidism, or just a typical liver in the wilds?
So, she learned her druidity from children of the gods, and so her connection to druidism is more of like an
instinctual.
Yeah, it's instinctual. It's natural to her, and she doesn't really see it as something separate to her. It's like a part of her core being. It's like if you grew up playing a sport your entire life, or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm. I get you. As you're listening to the sounds of the forest, because your room has no window, but yet you feel as if you can hear outside pretty easily, and it's very calming, especially for you in particular. And as you're listening to it, you swear you can hear a sound that does not belong. The sound of snarling, the sound of growls, and chains rattling. And it fills you with a soft dread as you remember the tales in that book, that horrible tome. You don't know who this Crawl is. You don't know who these humans are. You've never seen a human. In fact, you've never even really heard of a human. The Nest has never heard of humans. They've kind of erased all that history and all that memory in their desire to control things. You don't know what these humans are, but if they do have the power to slay or subdue children of the Wild Ones, they are an enemy. An enemy that is terrifying in its implication, if nothing more. And this is what the last thoughts that you kind of have, and the last things that go through your mind as you're drifting off to sleep. And that is where we will leave it for next time. So, I would like to thank all of you, my fantastic viewers, wherever you happen to be watching this. To those of you on YouTube, again, I do apologize that we were unable to stream live. However, by next session, I will have that fixed. I'm actually going to take some time after this stream and get that finished. I am also posting some new content to my YouTube channel. This will be a review over the PHB, the 1D&D PHB. I did the Barbarian as well as a few of the baser rules that came out. Callie and Eric were there, as well as Exile while he could still function until his head became too much for him. We wish him a speedy recovery. We also wish Whitehill Godspeed in his grades, as he is currently in the school learning to do the things and be in the society.
Boring.
I know, right?
Speaking English and other languages better than us.
Yeah,
Our
that
well
was
wishes are with him.
But, however, of course, this has been the Wildlands of Auria, and I could not have done this without my fantastic cast of characters. In the order they appear on the bottom of my screen, we have Gobsy, played by Mr. Uric.
Hello. We'll do more medicine next time, I promise.
We have the ever-lovely Callie Cat playing Yuki.
He says he's been around for millennium, and yet can't get over the pest.
We have Mr. Crowlot playing Autera.
You say that you couldn't do this without us, but you could. It'd just be a lot less interesting.
Wow. I mean, I could. One of these days I should actually, read the Book of Blaze. Because I actually wrote a book in this world. It's literally Blaze's story. I could read the whole Book of Blaze and...
Just do the single-player D&D game.
Yeah.
You're gonna roll dice, you're gonna go through it.
No, it's not even a D&D game. It's literally just the story, backstories of characters of this world. I could literally do that. Just lore dump in... I just might, now that I'm sitting here thinking about it. Why the fuck not? I wrote it out and published it on World Anvil. I might as well read the damn thing. Who knows? That might be
lore summaries and stuff. Yeah, they'd probably be okay.
Yeah, who knows? That might be kind of fun. We have Mr. Matt playing Teodor.
Hello. And goodbye.
And last but certainly not least, we have Mr. David playing Oliver.
Sounds like a disgusting race. Humans.
They do kind of suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of got bad stats, like squishy insides. And
I didn't really plan on
Really
having a
Self-destructive, which is funny.
druid rage thing, but I think that's coming.
yeah.
I mean, when you quite literally say that so many groups' gods are lesser beings, I'm pretty sure that's bound to happen.
Yeah, those are basically my parents that they're talking about.
Yep.
They literally said that any bird folk are beneath everything, which, no, bitch, we soar above.
I mean,
If they were going with the human
Oliver
animal.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oliver doesn't really care about civilizations and bird folk, but when you talk shit about God, the wild gods and children of she doesn't take that very slightly.
all I'm thinking of is that when they were doing all these summaries, kind of akin to, human animal relationships, all I'm thinking of is Wolf just getting fed by humans and being pacified. That's actually how that played out, so I think that would be a way better ending.
I mean, it's certainly how that played out. It
Come here,
is
good
just
boy.
not how
Come
it
here, good
happened
boy.
yet.
Come here,
Um,
good boy. Come here. Come here.
But yeah, no,
There's a steak.
it is quite interesting. For those of you who actually read my Fall of the Silverfangs, the Lupine Lands will be a fun treat down memory lane. Which is available on Amazon, by the way. Shameless self-plug. But I have been Dr. John Wolfenstein, your King of the Wilds and your Chief Surgeon for this operation. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope to see you next time in the wilds.